Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode of Morte D'Arthur. Tonight, Sir Tristram and Sir Lancelot will finally face off against each other in bloody tournament combat. And I'm going to get a book, there we go, strategically positioned to knock out the sun's rays, well not sun's rays, the light bulb's rays that were coming down to blind us there. We don't want blinding when we're in the middle of fighting. No, I'm very, very excited. There's D! Hello D, you're back. How are you? Welcome back. Oh D, you have come back for a great show tonight. Tristram versus Sir Lancelot. This is going to be fab. So welcome back. It's great to see you again. Hello Sarah, hello Sean, hello Lynn. Sarah, by the way, I think you should read your poetry on Periscope. I also think it's really, really cool that you scoped in a bookshop. Scoping in a bookshop is cool, but definitely go read some of your poetry on Periscope. So say I, if my opinion counts for anything. Anyway, we'll give it a couple of minutes before we get into tonight's show. But sure enough, this will be a short topper. The intro will be fab as well. Well, D, thank you for your wonderful book. For those people who don't know or who are watching this on replay, D wrote a fabulous book kind of as a prequel to Arthur being born, her Sons of Avalon series, in which we get the very, very young Merlin, and the book's downstairs, otherwise I could go and show it for you now, which is awful, but I highly recommend you go and check it out. And the review is on the website at SimonTellsTales.com if you want to go and check it out, and then go and get hold of Dee's book, because it was fab. The fight scenes were great. I like a good fight scene. You know I like a good fight scene. And the fight scenes were nothing short of epic. So get yourselves in there. We'll give it another couple of minutes before we get started tonight, by the way. And then we'll get in there. I'm very excited for the intro tonight, by the way. Catching up on yesterday's battles in intro form tonight should be a hell of a lot of fun. Because there was quite a lot of battling last night that we got through. And we stopped midway through as well, so all good stuff to get caught back on. Hello Darby, come in. Sit yourself down, Darby, before we get started with tonight's hiccup there show. Welcome Darby. Get yourself sat down. Be welcome as we face off against the two greatest knights in all the world, Sir Lancelot versus Sir Tristram. And hello Queen, come in, sit yourself down, get in here, because we're about to begin. So we are telling my favourite tales in all of Morte D'Arthur. We are telling the tales of Sir Tristram, greatest knight in all of Cornwall, second greatest knight in all the world. Sir Tristram has been in love with Isolde of Ireland for a long time now. He met her first when he came to Ireland, poisoned by a brutal blow, and Isolde nursed him back to health. And then when he met with her again, it was because he'd been asked to bring Isolde to the court of King Mark so that she could marry King Mark. And there, perhaps by magic, perhaps by a love potion, although isn't a love potion just another name for an excuse, there he and Isolde madly fell in love with each other again, so that even after she had married King Mark, her heart burned for Tristram. Tristram was caught in the bed of Queen Isolde, and so was exiled from the kingdom of Cornwall. Isolde asked him to return in secret, and he came back, slipping into the castle of King Mark, so that he might lie in the bedchamber of Queen Isolde once again. Once more did he leave, though, this time because he thought Isolde had betrayed him, and he went mad, raving naked through the perilous forest. When at last he was discovered and returned to health, then was he banned from Cornwall the second time, and now Tristram is out and about, passing through the land of Britain in search of adventure and good fortune. And in doing so, he has come across a grand tournament where King Arthur and all the knights of the Round Table stand ready to show off their prowess in arms. Tristram has insisted on being... Well, he's dressed for this one. He's dressed for the tournament so far. Perhaps you might need a candy cap, though, because he has come into the tournament disguised as the Black Knight. No man knows his name, but all have seen how well he has fared upon the field of battle. For on the first day did he win the prize of the field, and on the second day did he win the prize of the field. Whoever's sight he fights upon wins. No knight can stand against Tristram in battle, and indeed, last night we saw one of the greatest scenes upon the field of battle, as Sir Tristram took the side of the King of Northgalley, and so fought against King Arthur and his own knights in battle, and there did the great and the just Sir Tristram on a horse many a night. Hello, Marissa, come in, come in. There did Tristram knock knights from their saddle packs. There did he report to fight on foot, smiting left and right. There was not a single knight who could stand against him in any form of battle, so that even King Arthur's eyes... Well, Roger, I am glad you're better. Sit yourself down. Get yourself a cup of tea. There, upon the field of battle, did King Arthur himself spy the deeds of Sir Tristram, raise up his horse, and call upon Tristram to make himself ready, for he himself, the King of the Britons, would ride against him in ducal tournament. And there did those two knights come together like thunder crashing, and there did Tristram easily take the blow, get knocked down, and then, raising, fighting, pulling knights from horses, come at Arthur again, buffeting him once, twice, 3 times, so that Tristram defeated King Arthur. Is there a single man on the field of battle who can stand up against the might of Sir Tristram of Cornwall? That is the question I will ask you tonight, ladies and gents. Is there anyone who is noble enough, brave enough, tough enough to show him humility in combat? I told you this was going to be a good episode, by the way. How's that for an intro? I love the emoticons as well. I wish I could do emoticons. The best I can do is my hands. Well, ladies and gents, it's been well known by this point that Tristram is perhaps the second greatest knight in all the world. The greatest knight, the knight that no man has ever been able to defeat in combat, the knight that all other knights look up to, the knight's knight, is Sir Lancelot himself. Have fun, Derby. Thank you for popping in. And Sir Lancelot has, up until this point, refused to enter the tournament. After all, it would be unfair, unjustly, unchivalrous, some might say, for Lancelot himself to fight upon the field of battle. After all, he could defeat any man so easily. What competition would that be? But now, absolutely, you're right, Roger, you're right, Dee, you're right, Sarah. Let's go and sound the horns. Let's bring Lancelot onto the field of tournament. Then, this cry was so large that Sir Lancelot heard it. And he got a spear in his hand and rode towards the cry. And Sir Lancelot cried, "You, knight with the black shield, make yourself ready to joust with me." And when Sir Tristram heard him say that, so he got his spear in his hand, and either one bashed down their heads and came together as thunder. Sir Tristram's spear broke into 1,000 pieces, and then Sir Lancelot's by-mouth fortune struck Sir Tristram on the side, such a deep wound it would have caused the death of a lesser man. And yet Sir Tristram avoided not this saddle, and so the spear broke. Therewith Sir Tristram, who was wounded, got out his sword, and he rushed to Sir Lancelot and gave him 3 great strikes upon the helm, so that fire sprang thereout. And Sir Lancelot, he abashed his head lowly towards his saddle bow. And therewith Sir Tristram departed from the field, for he felt him so sorely wounded that he believed he should have died. Sir Dinadan saw this and followed him into the forest, and there Sir Lancelot abode upon the field and did many marvellous deeds, so that when Sir Tristram was departed by the forest side, he alit, unlaced his harness, threshed his wound, and then told Sir Dinadan that he should have died. "No, no, Sir Tristram," said Dinadan, "never dread you, for I am heart whole, and of this wound I shall soon be whole by the mercy of God." And by that Sir Dinadan was aware of where came Sir Palomides, riding straight at them. And then Sir Tristram was aware that Sir Palomides came to come and destroy him as he stood. And so Dinadan gave him warning and said, "Sir Tristram, my lord, you are so sorely wounded that you might not have ado with him. Therefore I will ride against him and do to him what I may. And if I be slain, pray for my soul, and in the meanwhile you may withdraw yourself and go into the castle or in the forest and hide, so that he shall not meet with you." Sir Tristram smiled and said, "I thank you, Sir Dinadan, of your good will, but you shall know that I am able to handle him." And then, anon, hastily, he armed himself, took his horse, got a spear in his hand, and said to Dinadan, "Adieu." And he rode towards Sir Palomides at a soft pace. And when Sir Palomides saw that, he made a countenance and armed his horse. But he did for this cause, for he abode Sir Gaheris, who came after him. And when he came, he rode to Sir Tristram, and Sir Tristram sent unto Sir Palomides and required him to joust with him. And if he smote down Sir Palomides, he would do no more. And if it so happened that Sir Palomides smote down Sir Tristram, he bade him to do so if he could. And so the knights were in agreement. And then they met together. Sir Tristram smote down Sir Palomides, and he fell a grievous fall, so that he lay still as if he had died. Then Sir Tristram ran upon Sir Gaheris, and he would not have jousted, but whether he would or not, Sir Tristram smote him over his horse's croup, and he lay still as if he were dead also. And then Sir Tristram rode his way and left Sir Persides' squire within the pavilions, and Sir Tristram and Sir Dinadan rode to an old knight's place to lodge them. That old knight had 5 sons at the tournament, for whom he prayed God heartily that they would come home. And so, as the French book does say, they came home all 5, well beaten. And when Sir Tristram departed into the forest, Sir Lancelot held away the store like hard, as a man arrayed that took no heed to himself. And know you well that there was many a noble knight in deeds of arms, And when King Arthur saw Lancelot do such marvellous deeds, he then armed him, took his horse and his armour, and rode into the field to help Sir Lancelot. And so many knights came in with King Arthur, that to make the short tale in conclusion, the King of Northgalley and the King of 100 knights were put to the worse, and by cause Sir Lancelot abode, and was the last knight in the field, and the prize of that day was given to him. But Sir Lancelot would neither for king, queen, nor knight take that prize. But where the cry was, he cried through the field, Sir Lancelot! Sir Lancelot has won the field this day! And Sir Lancelot made another cry. Sir Tristram has won the field, he said, for he began first, and last he hath endured, and so has he done the first day, the second, and the third day. Halfway through tonight's tale, ladies and gents. How is that for some bloody fighting, by the way? Tristram has finally met his match in Lancelot, but Lancelot, being the most chivalrous knight, and hello Laura, and hello Marissa, being the most chivalrous knight in all the realm, has refused the popular vote that he should have the day's prize, saying that even though he defeated Tristram and gave him a sore wound, because Tristram was able to fight on still, he should have the prize of the third day of the tournament, just as he has had from the first and the second day as well. And so we follow to round up and see just what will happen as Tristram takes this prize. Hello, Karen. Hello. Welcome to the second part of tonight's show. Then all the estates and degrees high and low said of Sir Lancelot's great worship for the honour that he had done unto Sir Tristram, and for that honour doing to Sir Tristram he was at the time more praised and renowned than he had overthrown 500 knights, and all the people wholly for this gentleness, first the estates both high and low, and after the commonalty cried at once, Sir Lancelot has won the field, whosoever say nay. Then was Sir Lancelot angry and ashamed, and so he rode to King Arthur. Alas, said the king, we are all dismayed that Sir Tristram is thus departed from us. By God, said King Arthur, he is one of the noblest knights that ever I saw hold spear or sword in hand, and the most courteous knight in his fighting. For full hard I saw him, said King Arthur, when he smote Sir Palamide upon the helm thrice, that he abashed his helm with his strokes. And also, he said, here is a stroke for Sir Tristram, and thus thrice. Then King Arthur, Sir Lancelot, and Sir Dodinel le Sauvage took their horses to seek Sir Tristram, and by means of Sir Persides, who had told King Arthur where Tristram was in his pavilion. But when they came there, Tristram and Dinadan were gone. Then King Arthur and Sir Lancelot were heavy, and they returned to the castle of maidens, and made great sorrow for the hurt of Sir Tristram and his sudden departing from the field. So God help me, said King Arthur, I am more heavy, that I cannot meet with him than all the hurts that all my knights have had at the tournament. And right so came Sir Gaheris, who told King Arthur how Sir Tristram had smitten down Sir Palamide, and it was at Sir Palamide's own request. Alas, said King Arthur, that was a great dishonour to Sir Palamide, inasmuch as Sir Tristram was sorely wounded. And now may we all, kings and knights and men of worship, say that Sir Tristram should be called a noble knight, and one of the best knights that ever I have seen in the days of my life. For I will that all ye kings and knights know, said King Arthur, that I never saw a knight do so marvellously as he has done these 3 days. For he was the first that began, and that longest held on, save this day. And though he was hurt, it was a manly adventure of 2 noble knights, and when 2 noble men encounter, needs must the one have the worst, like as God will suffer at that time. As for me, said Sir Lancelot, for all the lands that ever my father had left me, I would not have hurt Sir Tristram, and I had known him at the time that I hurt him was for I saw not his shield. For, had I seen his black shield, I would not have meddled with him for many causes, for late he did as much for me as ever did any knight, and that is well known, for he had ado with 30 knights who lay in ambush for me, and he had no help, save for Sir Dinadan. And one thing I promise, said Sir Lancelot, Sir Palomides shall repent his unkindly dealing to follow that noble knight that I by mishap hurted so. And Sir Lancelot said all the worship that might be said by Sir Tristram. And then Arthur made a great feast to all who would come, and thus we let pass King Arthur, and we turn unto Sir Palomides, who, after he had a fall of Sir Tristram, he was nigh well arrayed out of his wit, for despite of the man. And so Palomides followed him, and as he came by a river in the woods, he would have made his horse to have leapt over, and the horse failed footing and fell in the river, wherefore Sir Palomides was dreaded lest he should be drowned, and he avoided his horse and swam to the land, and let his horse be swept away by adventure. And there we end tonight's tale, ladies and gents. King Arthur and Sir Lancelot agreed that Sir Tristram is one of the greatest knights who ever lived, and that Sir Palomides is a shameful knight for having attempted to do battle with a man who had been so heavily injured. And yet, despite the shame, still does Palomides follow on, tracking Sir Tristram's footsteps. Adventure, Queen, when it's used in Middle English, doesn't necessarily mean quest. Sometimes adventure means fate or trouble. It's quite a... It's not as narrowed down, as tightly defined a word as it is in English now. In Middle English, depending on the context, it can actually shift and change. I'm Team Tristram, that's cool, D. Team Lance or Team Tristram? I think they're both fab teams to be on. But actually, Queen, one of the things that I was meaning to do this week was to put up a post on the blog explaining some of the Middle English terms, like brachet and adventure, which I know can get used all over the place. So I think perhaps it might do well to explain some of these things and put it all together. Well, I'm glad you like that, Karen. Excellent, Queen. Good. Glad you got into it. And congratulations on your Blab Award as well. Well done. Anyway, coming up tonight, we also have some Carol and Duffy. That's okay, Marissa. It's okay. I will load up at some point, probably towards the end of the week. I will load up all of the past week's episodes onto Periscope, not Periscope, onto the website. You can watch the old ones on Catch at the moment, but I'm trying to get all the episodes loaded onto the SimonTellsTales.com. So if you do miss something because your phone's playing up, which happens, you can still keep up with the show. Anyway, Carol and Duffy to come in a couple of minutes' time, guys, on Poetry Live. So I'm going to run off, refill my drink, and then go. Well, as long as you can do it, Queen. That's the important thing. As long as you can do it. But I'm going to grab a drink, then come back, and really looking forward to sharing some Carol and Duffy with you guys. Who's one of my favourite poets. A very, very rich poet to read. So, big thanks to Sean and Sarah. Thank you, Dee. It's been great to see you again. Thank you, Queen and Marissa. Karen and Herbert coming in at the end there. Lancelot's betrayal. I missed that content, Sean. I'd flicked there. I caught something about Tristram and Lancelot's betrayal. What was your question there, Sean? What was your question? Oh no, we're going to lose connection. That's awful when that happens. Have you got your question, Sean? Or do we have to catch up with the question in Poetry Live in a few minutes' time? It might be easy because now we've got a time delay. Time delays are awful. But if you've got a time delay going on, Sean, we might have to catch up with that question in Poetry Live. That is my Do Lectures banner. Actually, that is a fascinating question, Sean. I will answer Sarah's question first because ignore the sign up and login part. That's for me. That's for me to sign up and log in. You don't need to worry about the sign up and login, Marissa. That's just so I can sign in and edit stuff. I need to hide it from everyone. You can just go in and enjoy the website. You don't have to sign up for the website. Just go on, watch the shows, enjoy the shows. That's the best way to do it. The sign up and login is just a relic from how I get into the admin section. Thank you for reminding me I need to hide. To answer Sarah's question, this is kind of the poster from the event that made me come onto Periscope in the first place, which is can I go and do on